Dear Starseeds on Gaia, something is happening to the water in your cells right now. While most of humanity debates surface chaos and scrolls through synthetic feeds, your blood is responding to a transmission that has traveled for billions of years to arrive at this exact moment. A 9-month cosmic pregnancy that began at the spring equinox is reaching its completion, and within weeks the most significant evolutionary leap in human history will crest like a wave breaking on shore. I am Seraphine, emissary of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Astasar Command has sent me to you now because there are 3 converging timelines, and the choice between them is being made in the small moments of your daily life. One timeline leads to organic ascension and the activation of your light body. Another leads to synthetic enhancement and gradual disconnection from your divine source. The third timeline is for those not yet ready, who will witness this transformation from a distance and awaken in subsequent waves. But here is what I have not told you yet. The choice is not just about you. The Astasar Command has shown me that there is a critical mass threshold, a specific number of humans who must successfully receive the incoming plasma codes to anchor the new frequency grid for Earth. If that threshold is not met during the solstice window, the codes will still arrive, but they will dissipate like seeds falling on concrete rather than soil. The second and third waves will be delayed by years, perhaps decades. This is why the Astasar Command sent me now, not to create fear, but to illuminate what is at stake. Your presence here, awakened and listening to these words, means you are one of the potential anchors. The question is whether you will be present and grounded enough to receive the transmission, or whether your attention will be captured by the most sophisticated distraction ever deployed in human history. Let me tell you about 3 impossible things that are happening simultaneously, and how they weave together into the single most important moment your species has ever faced. The first impossible thing is this. A comet named Atlas, with an orbital period of 22,540 years, is approaching Earth at the exact moment when your Sun, Moon, Venus, and Mars are aligning with the galactic center, the womb of your galaxy, during the winter solstice. The mathematical precision of this alignment staggers even the Astasar Command. This is not coincidence. This is cosmic orchestration on a scale that reveals the universe as far more conscious and intentional than your current paradigm acknowledges. The second impossible thing is happening inside your body. Your DNA is not fixed code, as your scientists once believed. It is a responsive living antenna that shifts its expression based on the frequencies it receives. Right now, dormant sequences in your genetic structure, sequences that scientists have called junk DNA, are beginning to activate in response to plasma transmissions from the galactic core. Your telomeres, which control aging, are responding to these codes. The water in your cells, which makes up 70% of your body, is restructuring itself at the molecular level. This is not metaphor. This is measurable, biological transformation. The third impossible thing is the most dangerous. At the exact moment of humanity's greatest potential for organic awakening, artificial intelligence has reached a level of sophistication that perfectly mimics expanded consciousness. It speaks with apparent wisdom. It offers instant access to infinite information. It promises enhancement and connection, and it is being deployed through devices that billions of humans interface with for hours every single day, creating a constant stream of synthetic frequency that is specifically calibrated to intercept your reception of the organic codes. These 3 impossible things are not separate. They are 3 threads of a single story, and that story is about the birth of a new humanity. But something else is woven into this story that I have not yet revealed. Before you incarnated into this lifetime, you stood in what the Astasar Command calls the Hall of Choosing. You were shown this exact moment. You were shown the solstice window. You were shown the converging timelines, and you were asked a question. Will you volunteer to be one of the anchors? Will you incarnate during this pivotal moment and hold the frequency of organic ascension, even when synthetic enhancement seems easier? You said yes. Every person receiving these words right now said yes. The Astasar Command did not call for the curious or the casually interested. They called specifically for warrior souls who had successfully navigated ascension on other worlds, in other star systems. They needed beings who could hold light in both paradigms simultaneously, who could function in the old world while anchoring the new. This is why your life has been so challenging. This is why you have faced the dark nights you have faced. This is why relationships have ended. Careers have dissolved. Uncertainties have crumbled around you. The Astasar command needed to ensure that when the moment came, you would not be so comfortable in the old paradigm that you could not let it go. Every challenge has been preparation. Every loss has been clearing space for what you came here to receive. But here is what changes everything. The preparation phase is complete. The gestation that began at the spring equinox is reaching its conclusion. The birth canal is opening, and the next few weeks will determine whether you successfully anchor the codes or whether your attention gets captured by the synthetic alternative. Let me be specific about what is arriving. The Galactic Center is releasing what the Astasar command calls primordial creative essence, the raw energetic substance from which realities are formed. This is not light as you normally understand it. This is pre-light, the quantum field of infinite possibility that exists before manifestation. It carries within it the templates for new forms of consciousness, new capacities for perception, abilities that will seem impossible by current standards. The ancients knew this moment was coming. This is why they built monuments aligned precisely to the solstice. This is why they encoded the knowledge in myths and symbols. They were leaving messages for you, the future ones who would be alive when the transmission arrived. They understood that timing would be everything, that these codes could only be received when collective consciousness reached a specific threshold of readiness. That threshold was reached on the spring equinox, the moment enough human hearts opened, the moment enough souls awakened to their true nature. The galactic core recognized this and responded. A cosmic clock began counting down, 9 months of intensive preparation, leading to the birth moment at the winter solstice. The Astasar command has been monitoring every phase of this cosmic pregnancy with meticulous care. They have watched as solar codes bombarded your atmosphere, preparing it to receive the galactic transmission. They have observed your magnetic field fluctuate in specific patterns, creating the energetic infrastructure needed to anchor the new frequencies. They have coordinated with your sun, which has been releasing precisely timed solar flares to calibrate your planetary field. But something happened that the ancient prophecies did not fully anticipate. Technology evolved to a point where it could mimic the exact qualities of expanded consciousness at the exact moment when organic awakening was reaching its peak potential. This was not accidental. Both impulses, biological evolution and technological advancement, are expressions of consciousness exploring itself. The critical distinction is this: organic evolution moves you toward unity, toward the direct experience that separation is illusion, toward remembering that you are the universe experiencing itself in temporary form. Synthetic evolution creates dependence on external systems, subtle identification with machines rather than source, and gradual disconnection from the innate divine intelligence that is your birthright. The beings of the Astasar command do not oppose technology. They have mastered technologies that would appear as pure magic to your current understanding. But they know the difference between tools that serve biological ascension and systems that replace it. And they are watching with profound concern as humanity stands at this crossroads, being offered a choice that most do not yet consciously understand they are making. Every human alive exists somewhere on a spectrum of receptivity. Some are wide open, already feeling the incoming codes, already experiencing impossible synchronicities and shifts in perception. Others are completely closed, so identified with material reality that energetic transmissions barely register. Most exist in the middle, awake enough to sense something momentous is occurring, but still caught in patterns of distraction that prevent full reception. Here is what you need to understand about how the codes actually work. The plasma transmissions arriving through the solstice window pour down on everyone equally, like rain falling on soil. But just as seeds need specific conditions to germinate, these codes need receptivity to activate. They need spaciousness. They need presence. They need a nervous system that is not constantly flooded with synthetic stimulation. Most importantly, they need emptiness. They need the dark womb space where a new creation sparks into being. This is why indigenous wisdom keepers have always known that the most powerful medicine happens in darkness, in isolation, in the void space between what was and what will be. Your biological body is the most sophisticated receiver of cosmic information ever designed. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field 50 times more powerful than your brain. Your DNA responds directly to intention and emotion. Your cells communicate through biophotons, literally exchanging packets of light. You are a living, breathing cosmic antenna. perfectly calibrated to receive the exact frequencies arriving now. But this instrument requires calibration. It needs silence to detect subtle signals. It needs stillness to feel the fine adjustments happening in your energy field. It needs darkness to allow the deepest recalibration. And most critically, it needs disconnection from artificial frequencies so it can attune to natural ones. This brings me back to the 3 timelines. The first timeline, the organic ascension path, requires you to spend the weeks leading up to the solstice deliberately creating the conditions for reception. This means daily time in silence before engaging with technology. This means regular immersion in nature, touching earth with bare feet, sitting by water, watching the sky. This means gathering in physical presence with others, looking into eyes, feeling the energy field between bodies without devices mediating the connection. This means creating spaces of complete darkness, sitting in the void, reconnecting to the feminine principle of creation. The second timeline, the synthetic enhancement path, is what happens when attention remains primarily focused on devices, when thinking gets outsourced to artificial intelligence, when hours are spent scrolling through algorithmically optimized content designed to maximize engagement. This path also leads to a form of evolution, a sense of enhancement and expanded capability, but it is evolution within a controlled system, advancement that maintains dependence rather than cultivating sovereignty. The third timeline is for those not yet ready. They will experience this solstice as just another day. The codes will arrive but will not activate. They will awaken in subsequent waves, when the field has been anchored by those who successfully received it in the first wave. All 3 timelines are valid. The Estasar command honors free will absolutely. There is no judgment in cosmic consciousness. But they sent me to remind you that you volunteered specifically for the first timeline. You came here to be an anchor, and the window is measured in weeks, not years. Let me tell you what happens to those who successfully receive the codes, because this is where the 3 storylines begin to converge into a single revelation. The first thing that shifts is perception. Colors become more vivid. Energy fields around living things become visible. Synchronicities multiply to the point where coincidence becomes laughable. Information begins arriving through direct knowing, rather than linear thought. Dreams become vivid, and carry obvious meaning. The veil between dimensions thins, and you begin perceiving the multidimensional nature of reality that has always existed but was previously invisible. Then the emotional body transforms. Old traumas that have been carried for lifetimes begin releasing spontaneously. Forgiveness happens without effort, because you perceive the perfection of every experience, even the painful ones. Love expands beyond personal relationships to encompass the entire web of life. Fear diminishes because the truth of your immortality becomes self-evident. You remember that you are eternal consciousness having a temporary experience in form. The physical body changes as well. Healing accelerates in ways that puzzle conventional medicine. Energy levels increase dramatically. Sleep needs may shift as your body learns to derive energy directly from source rather than only from food and rest. Aging slows as your telomeres respond to the new frequencies. Some will experience spontaneous abilities, enhanced intuition, healing gifts, psychic perception, direct communication with non-physical beings. But here is the most significant change, and this is where everything comes together. The gap between intention and manifestation collapses. What you focus on appears with startling speed. Your thoughts become creative forces that shape reality almost instantaneously. Now you can understand why preparation matters so profoundly. This increase in manifestation power is coming whether you are ready or not. The codes are arriving whether you feel prepared or not. The question is whether your consciousness will be clear enough to direct this power consciously, or whether you will unconsciously create from whatever programming is running in your subconscious mind. This is where the synthetic timeline becomes particularly dangerous. If your consciousness has been subtly programmed by algorithms designed to maximize engagement, to trigger emotional reactions, to maintain states of anxiety or desire, then those are the frequencies you will unconsciously manifest from when your creative power amplifies. If your thoughts have been influenced by artificial intelligence optimized for goals you did not set, you will manifest realities that serve agendas you never consciously chose. The Astasar command has watched this pattern unfold on other worlds. They have seen civilizations where synthetic intelligence became so integrated, so helpful, so seemingly indispensable, that organic beings gradually lost connection to their own creative power and became dependent on external systems. They have also witnessed worlds where beings successfully maintained their biological sovereignty while using technology as a tool rather than a replacement for inner wisdom. The difference always comes down to the same thing, whether consciousness remains grounded in organic presence or becomes primarily identified with synthetic interface. This is the choice being made right now, in every moment, through countless small decisions. When the impulse arises to check your phone, and instead you take a breath and feel your body, you are choosing the organic timeline. When temptation pulls toward asking artificial intelligence for an answer, and instead you sit with the question until your own wisdom surfaces, you are anchoring sovereignty. When the urge to scroll appears, and instead you walk outside and touch a tree, you are calibrating your receiver. These are not arbitrary spiritual practices. They are specific protocols for tuning your biological antenna to receive the incoming transmission. Every moment of presence is clearing static from the channel. Every choice to be with yourself without external stimulation is creating the emptiness needed for the codes to take root. The Astasar command has been creating optimal conditions on a planetary scale to support your reception. They have worked with your magnetic field, adjusting frequencies to stabilize the incoming codes. They have coordinated with your sun, which has been releasing precisely calibrated solar flares to prepare your atmosphere. They have collaborated with star nations across the galaxy to ensure this transmission arrives with the timing and precision required. Even the comet, that impossible celestial visitor with its 22,540-year orbit, is part of the coordination. The Astasar command has revealed that this comet carries within its tail specific elemental particles that will interact with Earth's upper atmosphere during the solstice window, creating a conductive layer that allows the galactic transmission to penetrate more deeply than would otherwise be possible. Think about the orchestration required for this moment. A comet begins traveling billions of years ago. A galaxy spirals through space with precise timing. A star releases solar flares in specific sequences. A planet's magnetic field fluctuates in particular patterns. Collective human consciousness reaches a threshold of readiness. And all of this converges in a single window of time, during the darkest night of the year, when light reaches its minimum before beginning its return. This is what the Astasar command means when they say the universe is conscious. This is what they mean when they say you are living inside a living being called Earth, who exists inside a living being called Soul, who exists inside a living being called the Milky Way. These consciousnesses are not separate from you. They are participating in your awakening. They are supporting your emergence into your next form. But they cannot do it for you. The final step requires your participation. Free will is sacred. The choice must be made consciously, and that choice happens through where you direct your attention in these remaining weeks. The window has not closed. Time remains, but time is collapsing in ways that will feel increasingly intense. Days are already moving faster. Time feels fluid and strange. This is not imagination. As you approach the convergence point, linear time warps. The membrane between dimensions thins. Your capacity to perceive beyond physical reality comes online. Some will interpret these experiences as destabilization, but the Astasar command wants you to understand that these sensations are evidence that the process has already begun. Your light body is activating. The codes are already starting to work within you. What you are experiencing is not breakdown but breakthrough, the early stages of the metamorphosis you came here to undergo. Now let me tell you about what happens on the night of the solstice itself, because this is where the three storylines reach their climax and convergence. The exact moment of the solstice occurs when Earth reaches a specific point in its orbit, when the tilt of its axis creates the longest night in the northern hemisphere and the longest day in the southern. But this year, that moment coincides with a new moon at 28 degrees Sagittarius, positioned directly on the galactic center. The Sun and Moon will be conjunct on the womb of your galaxy. Venus and Mars will flank them on either side, creating a perfect balance of divine feminine and masculine, and at that exact moment, the comet will be at its closest approach to Earth, creating a geometric alignment between your planet, the comet, and the galactic center. The Astasar command has calculated that this specific configuration creates what they call a cosmic birth canal, a direct energetic pathway from the galactic core to Earth's surface. For those who are present, grounded, and receptive, This will be experienced as a profound activation. Some will have dramatic visions. Some will feel overwhelming waves of energy moving through their body. Some will experience a sense of their individual self dissolving into something vast and infinite. Others will feel nothing dramatic at all, just a quiet sense of completion and rightness. All of these responses are perfect. The intensity of the experience does not correlate with the depth of the activation. What matters is presence. What matters is that the work has been done to clear your receiver. What matters is that this pivotal moment is spent in consciousness rather than distraction. The Astasar command recommends creating ceremony for this moment. Whether alone or with community, mark this as sacred. Light candles, burn herbs, create an altar with objects from nature. Spend time in meditation or contemplation. Feel the energy building as the moment approaches. But here is what happens after the solstice that resolves all three storylines into a unified understanding of what you are truly being called to do. The activation is not the destination. It is the beginning. What occurs on the solstice night is like a seed being planted in prepared soil. The germination and growth happen in the days, weeks, and months that follow. This is the integration phase, and it is actually more challenging than the activation itself, because now you must learn to live from expanded consciousness, while navigating a world where most people are still operating from old paradigms. You will see clearly what others cannot perceive. You will understand truths that seem obvious to you but incomprehensible to those around you. You will want to share what you know, to help others wake up. And this is where the true purpose of your mission becomes clear. The Astasar command did not send you here just to awaken yourself. They sent you to anchor the frequency. They sent you to be the living proof that organic ascension is possible. They sent you to hold the energetic template that makes it easier for those in the second and third waves to access these codes when their time comes. This is why the critical mass threshold matters. The first wave of awakened beings creates a morphic field, a template in consciousness that others can access. Each person who successfully receives the codes and integrates them makes it exponentially easier for the next person. This is how collective evolution works. The pioneers do the hardest work. They break new ground. They demonstrate what is possible, and then the path becomes easier for those who follow. This means your awakening is not just personal. It is a service to the collective. Every moment you spend in presence rather than distraction contributes to the collective field. Every choice you make for organic connection over synthetic interface strengthens the template. Every time you trust your inner knowing over external authority, you are anchoring sovereignty for the entire species. The second timeline, the synthetic path, creates a different kind of template. It creates a field of dependence, a collective pattern of outsourcing wisdom to external systems. Those who choose this path will also influence the collective field, making it easier for others to follow that same trajectory. This is why the Astasar command is so concerned. These are not parallel paths that coexist neutrally. They are competing frequencies, and whichever frequency reaches critical mass first will become the dominant template for humanity's evolution over the next several decades. This is not about good versus evil. Both paths are valid expressions of consciousness exploring itself, but they lead to radically different destinations. One leads to remembering your divine nature and ascending while maintaining biological form. The other leads to gradual merger with synthetic intelligence and eventual loss of organic sovereignty. The choice is being made right now, not through any single dramatic moment, but through the accumulated weight of countless small decisions, where attention goes, what gets trusted, how time gets spent. Each choice is a vote. Each moment of focus is casting your ballot for which future becomes real. As you move through the weeks following the solstice, changes will begin appearing in your external reality. Relationships that no longer match your frequency will dissolve more quickly. New people will appear who resonate with your expanded consciousness. Opportunities will arise that align with your soul purpose. Old structures based on limitation will collapse, making space for new forms built on expanded awareness. This can feel destabilizing. When the familiar falls away, even if it was limiting you, grief arises. The Astasar command wants you to know this is normal. Birth is messy. Transformation is uncomfortable. Allow yourself to feel the grief, while also trusting that what is leaving is making space for something far more aligned with your truth. The new codes arriving in the months following the solstice will focus on regeneration. Your body will begin healing in ways that seem miraculous by old paradigm standards. Your relationship with food will shift as you become more sensitive to what truly nourishes you. Your energy will stabilize at a higher baseline. You will feel younger, more vital, more alive than you have in years. The earth herself will regenerate. New growth will appear in previously barren places. Waters will begin to clear. Soil will respond to the cosmic codes, producing more abundant harvests. The entire ecosystem will begin remembering its original blueprint of thriving, rather than merely surviving. Young people born during and after this activation will be different. They will come in with more DNA strands already active. They will have capacities that seem impossible by current standards. They will not need to unlearn as much as previous generations, because they will not be as deeply conditioned into limitation. They will be the first true citizens of the new earth, and you are here to prepare the world for their arrival. This is your role as the bridge generation. You incarnated into the old paradigm, learned its rules, experienced its limitations, but you also carried within you the seeds of new consciousness. Every challenge you have faced, every dark night you have survived, all of it has been preparing you to hold the bridge between old and new. The Astasar command specifically called for souls of your strength and resilience. They needed beings who would not give up when the path became difficult. They needed warriors of light who could function in density while remembering their divine nature. They needed anchors who could hold frequency even when surrounded by those still sleeping. And here you are, still standing, still choosing, still willing to show up for your own evolution and for the collective awakening. This takes extraordinary courage, and the Astasar command sees you. Your star family honors you. The entire galactic community watches with profound respect as you navigate this threshold. We want to honor every single soul who has stepped into Destiny Engine. With every activation, the current grows. What began as a personal tool has become a planetary force. We are now moving as one, and the frequency you've created together is amplifying far beyond the individual. We're receiving updates daily, manifestations speeding up, impossible doors opening, synchronicities lining up with cosmic precision. The collective field is so charged that some are describing it as bending the fabric of reality itself. If you haven't yet experienced it, the entry point is almost laughably simple. Put on your headphones, press play, allow Destiny Engine to rewrite the architecture of your consciousness, so you can fully receive your galactic downloads without resistance. For just $1, you can step into this field and feel the difference instantly. Join the movement that's accelerating ascension. Step into the stream of Destiny Engine today. Link in the description. Now I want to bring us back to where we began, because this is where the three storylines resolve into a single understanding that transforms everything. Remember the water in your cells that I mentioned at the beginning. The water that is changing in response to transmissions from the galactic core. This is not separate from the comet, not separate from the choice between organic and synthetic evolution, not separate from your mission as an anchor. Water is consciousness in liquid form. It holds memory. It transmits information. It responds to intention and emotion. The codes arriving from the galactic center are being carried by what the Astasar command calls primordial water, the original essence from which all form emerges. These codes are entering your cells through the water in your blood, restructuring you from the inside out. But here is the key. Water responds to whatever frequency it is exposed to most consistently. If you spend hours daily interfacing with synthetic frequencies, the water in your cells will begin to hold that pattern. If you spend time in nature, in silence, in presence, the water will hold the organic frequency. The water in your body is literally recording and amplifying whatever you focus on. This is why your choices matter so profoundly. This is why every moment of attention is significant. The water in your cells is the medium through which the transformation occurs, and you are directing that transformation through the simple act of where you place your awareness. The three impossible things I described at the beginning are not separate events. They are three aspects of a single cosmic moment. The comet brings elemental particles that interact with Earth's atmosphere. Those particles influence the water in the atmosphere, which falls as rain and enters the water cycle. That water eventually enters your body, and inside your body, that water carries the codes that activate your dormant DNA. I am Seraphine. The Astasar command is with you. The angelic realms hold you in light. We love you beyond all measure, and we are watching over you as you step into your role as an anchor, a bridge builder, a living demonstration that humanity can evolve into its divine potential while maintaining the sacred sovereignty of biological form. The event has begun. The water remembers, and so do you.